When I first saw the wreckage, I thought it was just another crash site, one of the countless derelicts scattered across the badlands of Epsilon Prime. The twin suns burned low that evening, casting long, distorted shadows across the dunes. My sensors had picked up faint radiation traces, the kind that suggested pre-fall technology, valuable salvage. I never expected to find anything living out here, let alone her. The ship looked like it had been torn in half by invisible claws. Its hull wasn't metal but something organic, smooth and veined, almost like the skin of a creature that had once breathed. I approached cautiously, scanning for movement. The atmosphere shimmered with heat, and then, faintly, I heard it. A sound that didn't belong in this dead world. Cry. At first, I thought it was a trick of the wind until I saw her. Small, fragile, and trembling beside the remnants of what must have been an escape pod. She wasn't human. Her skin glimmered like glass under the sunset, translucent with veins of light. She had eyes too large for her face, shining like liquid mercury. She looked young, maybe the equivalent of a child in her species. She didn't speak my language, but fear needs no translation. When she saw me, she backed away, wings. Yes, wings, flaring out from her back in a defensive shimmer of color. I raised my hands and lowered my rifle. Easy, I whispered. I'm not here to hurt you. The translator in my helmet struggled to make sense of her vocalizations, spitting out fragmented phrases. Home. Lost mother gone. That was enough for me to know she was alone. And scared. I named her Lyra, after a constellation from the old Earth sky. She clung to me for warmth that night, trembling as the cold of Epsilon Prime set in. The stars above us were unfamiliar, alien and sharp, but she gazed at them as though searching for one she recognized. I didn't realize it then, but that small gesture, looking up, refusing to forget, was what would lead us both to the edge of everything. It took weeks before Lyra began to trust me. I fixed her a translator from my ship's old linguistics core, and slowly, her words began to make sense. She told me about her homeworld, Virith, a lush oceanic planet on the far side of the Centauri's rift. Her people, the Virilians, were a matriarchal species, deeply bonded by what she called the luminance, a biological network that connected their minds across distance. It was something like empathy made tangible, a glow of shared thought and emotion. When her ship crashed, the luminance went silent. That silence, she said, meant her mother believed her dead. I can still feel her, Lyra whispered one night as we sat by the fire. Faint like a voice under the ocean. But I don't have the strength to reach her. Then we'll find a way, I said, though I didn't yet know how. Epsilon Prime wasn't kind to travelers. My ship had sustained damage from a meteor storm days before, and we were short on both fuel and oxygen. But Lyra had something better than hope. Knowledge. She told me about a beacon hidden deep in the planet's equatorial mountains, a relic of the Virilians' exploration era. If we could activate it, it might pierce the rift and send a signal to her world. And so we traveled. The journey across Epsilon Prime's wastelands took us through glass storms and magnetic tempests that warped compass readings. The nights grew colder, the days hotter, but Lyra never faltered. Sometimes I'd catch her whispering in her sleep, calling to someone I couldn't see. A mother's name. Promised to return. As we reached the mountains, I began to understand just how intertwined our fates had become. I wasn't just helping her anymore. I was protecting her because she reminded me of my own daughter, lost years ago when Earth fell to dust. The beacon was buried beneath ancient rock, half consumed by alien flora that pulsed with bioluminescent veins. When we finally uncovered the control matrix, Lyra placed her hands upon it. The machine responded instantly, its organic circuits awakening as if recognizing her lineage. Light rippled through the cave walls, and for a heartbeat, I thought I saw visions. Oceans, skies of crystal, cities that shimmered like coral reefs. But then came the sound. A voice, distant, trembling, spoke through the air. "Lyra!" Lyra's eyes filled with tears. "Mother!" The connection was weak, distorted by centuries of decay in the beacon systems, but the emotion in that single word could have split the stars. I turned away, giving them what little privacy I could, though part of me felt an ache I hadn't known in years. Lyra's mother had thought her dead for a full cycle, and yet she had waited, hoping against reason. When the link finally faded, Lyra collapsed into my arms. "She's alive," she whispered. "But she's trapped. The war took everything." That's when I learned the truth. Virith was dying. The Virelians had been fighting an invasion. Humans, desperate colonists who had fled the collapse of their own worlds. Lyra's ship had been part of an effort to seek peace, but she had been shot down before the message could be delivered. And so I made a choice that would define the rest of my life. I would bring her home. We rebuilt my ship with the help of alien technology scavenged from the beacon site. The luminance crystal Lyra carried powered the jump drive, bending spacetime in ways that defied human physics. When we finally launched, the stars seemed to fold around us, whispering in frequencies my instruments couldn't measure. Lyra sat beside me, eyes closed, whispering prayers to her ancestors. The journey through the rift was like diving through liquid fire. My hull screamed under the stress, and alarms blared, but Lyra placed her hands on the console. The lights dimmed, and suddenly everything was calm. Her bioluminescent veins pulsed in rhythm with the ship, guiding it as though it were alive. When the turbulence cleared, I saw it. Virith was breathtaking. A planet covered in sapphire oceans and floating islands of glass. But the beauty was marred by scars, smoke rising from the seas, fleets drifting in ruin. War had ravaged her world. We entered orbit cautiously, broadcasting the old Virelian peace codes Lyra remembered. A response came almost immediately. A single vessel, massive and radiant, approaching us. It wasn't a warship. It was something else. Organic, almost graceful. When it opened, a figure emerged. Lyra gasped. Her mother. She was taller, her form draped in silvery membranes that shimmered with light. Her eyes were filled with something ancient, sorrow and relief entwined. For a moment neither moved. Then Lyra broke into a run, and her mother caught her in her arms. The glow between them flared, illuminating the landing bay with pure, living light. The luminance was whole again. I stood there, feeling both awe and loss. Lyra looked back at me one last time, tears glistening like starlight. "You gave me back my mother," she said softly. "Now let me give you back your hope." She placed her hand on my chest, and for a brief moment I felt it, the luminance. A surge of warmth, memories not my own, a promise that connection transcends distance, species, and time. Then the mother spoke through the translator. "Human traveler, you have restored what I had lost. Go in peace. The stars will remember you." When I left Virith, I did so knowing I might never see them again. But as my ship rose through the clouds, I saw a flash of light on the horizon. A signal, pulsing in rhythm with a heartbeat. Lyra's heartbeat. And for the first time in years I smiled. Not as a salvager,